What makes a dog beautiful? A glossy, flowing coat, piercing blue eyes, or a friendly, smiling face? Hi there. Thank you for visiting Biscuit and Friends. This video is all about the top 10 most beautiful, gorgeous, spectacular dog breeds you've ever seen. Get ready to ooh and ah over these perfectly posh pups. Be sure to subscribe to Biscuit and Friends for more videos like this, and don't forget to stay tuned until the end. Let's get started. Number 1, Saluki. Salukis are one of the world's oldest breeds and have served as sight hounds for pharaohs and kings. They are slim, athletic, fast, and agile dogs who love to run and chase. Their athleticism is one of the traits that makes Salukis so beautiful. Their long, lean legs and graceful stance make them look like the ballerinas of the dog world. In fact, these dogs are also sometimes called gazelle hounds, partly because they were used to hunt gazelle, but also for their graceful, swift, gazelle-like gait and appearance. Their coats come in a variety of colors and patterns, including white, fawn, grizzle, and tricolor, which is white, black, and tan. Their coats are fairly short and silky, and they shed less than many dogs. They have beautiful, large, oval-shaped eyes and easily recognizable, long, silky, floppy ears. Arab tribesmen consider the Saluki a gift from God, and we can see why. Number 2, Irish Setter. Red setters were bred by Irish huntsmen in the 1800s to move quickly and quietly in order to cover the most ground in the wide, flat countryside of Ireland. Setters use their acute sense of smell to locate game birds and will alert the hunter that he's found birds by setting down on his belly. The Irish setter excelled in the hunting fields, but has also been a big winner in dog shows, thanks to its striking good looks and graceful gait. Standing around 24 inches at the shoulder with an elegant build, the Irish is most well known for its brilliant, shiny coat of mahogany or chestnut. Irish are famously good family dogs, equally happy as a couch companion or a frolicking playmate. They are outgoing dogs who love to make friends, are eager to please, and live up to the nickname rambunctious redheads. Number 3, Afghan. Afghans are an ancient breed. In fact, some say they were the very first purebred dog, and legend has it they even represented the canine species on Noah's Ark. Because the breed is older than written history by a few thousand years, we will never know its exact origin story. What we do know is that the breed came from the area that is now known as Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India. Afghans were rugged and swift hunting companions who used their extraordinary sight and speed to pursue prey. They were beloved by royals, tribal chieftains, and aristocrats in Asia's mountain kingdoms. Although Afghans have been a part of Eastern culture for thousands of years, they didn't make an appearance in Western civilization until the late 1800s. English officers who had traveled to the farthest reaches of the British Empire brought the dogs back to Europe. The AKC registered the breed back in 1927, but their popularity rose sharply when one of the Marx brothers, Zeppo, imported a breeding pair of Afghans in the 1930s. Number 4, Weimaraner. The Weimaraner was developed in Germany in the early 1800s. It was the goal of Grand Duke Karl August, who ruled in the town of Weimar, to develop the perfect hunting dog. He crossed bloodhounds with various other French and German dogs and was rewarded with the Weimar Pointer, or Weimaraner. By the late 1920s, the Weimaraner had begun to make its way to the United States. In the 1950s, celebrity owners like President Eisenhower and movie star Grace Kelly contributed to a boost in popularity. And again in the 1980s, when photographer and artist William Wegman became world famous for his charming Weimaraner portraits. The Weimaraner is known for its short, sleek, almost metallic gray coat and piercing light blue-gray eyes, which have earned it the nickname Germany's Gray Ghost. Number 5, Australian Shepherd. One might assume that the Australian Shepherd originated in Australia, right? Well, Aussies actually came from Europe, near the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain. Here, indigenous people known as the Basque built their centuries-old reputation as world-class shepherds. Their herding dog of choice was called the Pyrenean Shepherd and is the ancestor of our modern Aussie. The Basques and their Pyrenean shepherds eventually sailed to Australia in search of opportunity among the vast lands suitable for sheep and farming. During their stay in Australia, the Pyrenean shepherds were crossed with collies and border collies that had made their way from England. After a long stay in Australia, the European Basques set out for greener pastures, literally, and sailed to California. Californian ranchers were impressed by the dogs and, assuming the dogs were Australian, renamed them Australian Shepherds. Aussies continued to be refined and improved once they arrived in California and have ultimately become a fixture in cowboy culture. Many are still happily working on ranches in the American West. Others work as rodeo performers, and still others of this smart breed work as therapy or service dogs, drug detectors, and search and rescue dogs. The Australian Shepherd was accepted into the AKC herding group in 1993. Aussies are a medium-sized breed with an alert, penetrating gaze and their typically blue eyes. Their impressive long coats come in several colors, including the beautiful merle, which is a mottled pattern of shades of blue and red. Aussies are famous for their irresistible impulse to herd just about anything, including birds, dogs, and yes, even kids. Number 6, the Golden Retriever. The Golden Retriever was developed in the Scottish Highlands in the mid-1800s by the first Lord Tweedmouth, Dudley Marjoribanks. Over 50 years, he worked to create the ideal hunting dog, one that was able to endure the rainy weather and rugged landscape of the area. He initially crossed his yellow retriever with a Tweed Water Spaniel, which is now extinct. Their beauty is matched in scale by their friendly temperament. Most Goldens have never met a stranger. The Golden Retriever was popular from the beginning of its arrival in the U.S., but became more so during the 1970s when President Gerald Ford brought his beautiful golden, Liberty, to the White House. Goldens excel as family pets, but also as working dogs, therapy dogs, sight dogs for the blind, and in search and rescue. They are athletic and do well in competitions. Overall, they just seem to love life and people and pretty much everything. Their most striking characteristic is their dense, shiny golden coat. They also have a broad head, friendly eyes, and perpetually happy grin. They are playful and energetic and do best with loads of physical activity. Swimming and fetching are literally in their DNA, and they would happily do either all day long. Number 7, Maltese. Malta is a very small country in the Mediterranean Sea, about 60 miles south of Sicily. As far back as 3500 BC, Malta was a busy seaport and a crossroads for travelers. It is thought that the Phoenicians, who ruled the Mediterranean before the rise of Greece, brought the charming tiny white dog to Malta. The Greeks of the 4th and 5th centuries BC were enamored by the Maltese and left behind many artifacts bearing its image. Likewise, the Roman Empire considered the Maltese a status symbol and even a fashion statement among the aristocracy. After the fall of Rome, it was Chinese breeders who kept the Maltese from extinction, crossing it with their own toy breeds to create an even more refined and beautiful version. Best known for their glimmering, silky white floor-length coats, Maltese are also known to be playful, charming, and affectionate companions. They have large dark eyes and a sweet black puppy nose that can win over even the most stoic skeptics. Maltese are low-shedding, athletic, and long-lived, but can also be stubborn and strong-willed. They make alert watchdogs who will surely alert their family every time the mailman, or anyone else for that matter, arrives. Number 8, Papillon. A cross between existing toy breeds and spaniels, Papillons were developed in Renaissance times to serve as friendly and faithful companions for noblewomen. For hundreds of years, they graced the laps of a great many ladies in the royal courts of Europe. In fact, they appear in many portraits of queens and princesses painted by the world's most renowned artists, including Goya and Rembrandt. The Papillon's most famous characteristic, its large wing-shaped ears, is responsible for its name. Papillon is French for butterfly. Paps are quite tiny, at only 8 to 11 inches at the shoulder, but even from a distance, you can't miss those distinctive ears. They also have a fancy plumed tail and a long, silky coat with several color variations, including white and sable and white and lemon. Despite their deceptively fragile appearance, Paps are actually quite robust. They're athletic, excel in agility competitions, and are great family dogs. Number 9, Husky. Huskies were developed by a nomadic tribe in Siberia called the Chukchi. They were developed to be able to cross large distances of cold, snowy land more quickly than the tribesmen could alone, in order to hunt prey for survival. In the 1900s, they were brought to Alaska by a businessman who entered them in a sled dog race. They were much smaller at around 60 pounds than the Alaskan Malamutes who typically were used for these races. But the Huskies performed exceptionally well and continue to be used as sled dogs today. Known for their big and sometimes noisy personalities, Huskies are also famous for their dense, thick coats and almond-shaped eyes, which are often blue or multicolored. Number 10, all dogs. Last but not least, although the dogs on this list have some unique traits that make them quite beautiful, we believe that the most beautiful dog is one that is well-loved and well cared for. From the most glamorous prize-winning Afghan, to the snorty, squidgy old pug, to the three-legged rescue dog with an underbite, all dogs are beautiful. That completes our list of the top 10 most beautiful dog breeds. Be sure to subscribe to Biscuit and Friends for more great videos about our wonderful furry friends. See you next time.